Hello, Primetime students. This is Rob Lamica. I want to start by just saying I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is, and I'm recording this on Thursday, May 28th, is I heard yesterday that church is back. So yes, next weekend, June 6th and 7th, we will be back at church having services on the church campus. That is the good news. And there are some details about how all that's going to happen. I know your parents are going to find all that out, but you will be going to church with your parents. So the bad news is we're still not going back to prime time. There won't be any kids classes, just attending church. So that looks like that this will be the last lesson that I put up for you guys, because we are getting to the end of the school year. Like I said last week, you guys are all 12 or are going to be, and you're in 6th grade and coming to the end of the school year, and you're going to be moving on to junior high soon. Exactly what happened with junior high events this summer, obviously still to be determined, but that's what's next for you. So this will probably be the last one. So what I want to do is just get started, and I'm going to share my screen because I've got some slides for you. All right. So first thing I want to do is ask a question. That question is, what is friction? So for those of you who really enjoy your science, hey, you may already know that definition. What is this word? What is friction? Well, the dictionary definition is friction, a force that holds back the movement of a sliding object. A force that holds back the movement of a sliding object. So friction can be good, can be bad, depends on when you need it or not. So what I'm going to do is just show you a video where a lack of friction really, and there's our definition. On this video really shows you when you don't have friction, what happens. So let's check this out. All right, so there you go. When you're on ice, there's no friction, and that can be dangerous. I like that one where the guy started to go and he was holding the shovel and he said, "Oh, chuck the shovel, just get rid of it because I'm going down." I'm sure everybody was okay, as a result of all of that. But hey, when you don't have friction and you're sliding on ice, that's what's going to happen. Sometimes friction can be good, or I should say a lack of friction can be good or even fun. So let me show you this next one. I got a couple of separate videos of my daughter actually sliding. Go here. Okay, so we have a nice smooth wood floor, and so she tried to slide on the wood floor with her shoes on. So let's see how this worked for her. Oh, just stopped. Yeah. That's all that's going to happen there when you're trying to slide. Now, there you go. She just did it again. Now, what about if you're trying to slide? She took her shoes off, tried on her socks. Let's see how this goes. Hey, much better, much smooth. Yeah, she was proud of herself for that one, right? So there's my dog, Kiana. I'm going to get to her in a second. So friction, it can be good, it can be bad, right? And speaking of Kiana, as if you saw the video last week, she's our dog, and she's a great dog. She does cause trouble. I mean, she is an animal, right? She gets into the trash, she tracks dirt into the house. Sometimes if I'm laying back on the couch, trying to watch TV like this, and she'll just climb up right up onto my chest and just get right in my face so I can't see the TV. Of course, Kiana, thanks a lot, all right? So she can cause some trouble. She can cause friction, right? So there's the different definition of friction. And that's really what I wanted talk about now is the friction that can happen in our family life, which is, not the scientific part, but really what it can be defined as conflict. And the dictionary definition is conflict caused by a clash of wills, temperaments, or opinions. Okay, really just a clash of even emotions between family members. So let's get into that one next. Okay, so some examples of family friction. Even my kids, they're older than you guys. They're 18 and 20. So a high school senior and a college student, but just like everybody else, they're home right now, right? And they're spending a lot of time together. So they'll argue over their food, argue over, using the bathroom and who goes in next, or get out of the bathroom, I need to come in and wash my face, whatever. Where to sit in the car, when we have those few times when we actually can go out somewhere, or they just argue about who was right about whatever, it doesn't matter. I was right, you weren't, whatever. So an example is, go here. Bye, Kiana. Parents, you can probably relate to this. So look at these cartoons. She's touching me. No, I'm not. He's breathing my air. He's on my side. She's looking at me. The usual things that happen between siblings, especially when they're together, right? They're in close quarters. Siblings don't have to social distance, right? They can be very close to each other. And right now, probably, a little too much. So what do we do about this family friction, right? So is there an example in the Bible where we can learn from the scriptures how to deal with this? Well, of course there is, right? God gives us everything we need to learn for our lives. So what I'm going to do is turn to the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 25 is where it starts. And this is Isaac, Rebekah, and their kids, Jacob and Esau. All right, so there was some friction. There were some problems with this family. So starting in Genesis, actually in Genesis 25, there was, in this family, there was favoritism, there was lies, there was deception over and over. And it all started with, in chapter 25, verse 28, says, Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So let me just go back to full screen here for a minute. So Isaac loved Esau, Rebekah loved Jacob. So there was favoritism right off the bat, which obviously not a good idea between those parents. And things with this family just went south from there. So, of course, Esau then was tricked by Jacob, and he sold Jacob his birthright for a pot of stew, right? And that was in chapter 25. And jumping over to chapter 27 was where Rebekah wanted to trick Isaac into blessing Jacob instead of Esau. So she says in chapter 27, verse 10, I'm going to prepare some food for you, then take it to your father to eat. She's talking to Isaac. Oh, sorry, she's talking to Jacob about Isaac. Take it to your father to eat so that he may give you his blessing before he dies. And then Jacob even says, well, I would appear to be tricking him, and it would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing. And then Rebekah says to him, my son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say. Go and get them for me. And then it continues down still in chapter 27 in verse 19. So now Jacob is lying to his father. He says, I am Esau, your firstborn. And Isaac says, how do you find the food so quickly, my son? And he says, the Lord your God gave me success. So he's lying about that. He's even putting God into the conversation and lying to his father. And then later down in verse 24, are you really my son Esau? And Jacob says, I am. So he's lying again, all right? So eventually Esau finds out about it. He finds out that he was deceived twice by his brother, right? So he gave him his birthright, and then now he has taken his blessing from his father. And way down still in chapter 27, verse 41, Esau held a grudge against Jacob. And he says, the days of mourning for my father are near, then I will kill my brother Jacob. So it just got worse and worse. And now he just wants to kill his brother. So yeah, that's some family friction. All right. Things are not going well. So this is a great example of what's actually happening with friction and how is that resolved? Well, we'll get to that in a second with this family. But I just wanted to share some verses with you guys of how to resolve friction, when there's problems going on, especially with your siblings. Let me just share the slides again, just a second. So you can see. Okay. So in dealing with your siblings and your family and when there's friction, I just wanted to focus on just a few verses. First is 1 Thessalonians 5:16 and 17. Um, very simple verse. Rejoice always, pray continually. Pray, pray, pray. I want to encourage you to, to pray for your families and for yourself to just be able to be patient and deal with them with kindness and love. And that leads right into the other verse, Galatians 5:22 and 23. Of course, the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, all those things. So important, but so hard, right? And it's important to put those together and continue to pray to the Lord to give you those attributes, those fruits of the Spirit, um, to help avoid and prevent and end the friction with your siblings. And then finally, Colossians 3:13, forgiving each other. The whole verse actually says, bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And then, so if we actually go back to Genesis to later in the story, Genesis chapters 32 and 33, we read about Jacob who sent some messengers to offer peace to Esau and to try to just make peace with his brother. Then Esau assembled 400 men and caused great fear in Jacob, like, oh, they're going to attack. But then in Genesis chapter 33, verse 4, and I will read this, it says, but Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him. So happy ending with these brothers, right? So Esau did forgive him, and he did not kill his brother, right? So that's a lesson for us. And even when there's friction in our families, especially between siblings, that we can remember to continue to pray, remember the fruits of the Spirit: love, kindness, gentleness, self-control, and just see the happy ending in the way that Esau forgave his brother in the end, just as we're commanded in Colossians chapter 3. So finally, I just wanted to get to the verse I mentioned last week, which is 1 Timothy 4:12. And especially remember verse 12 for the 12-year-olds. As you guys are moving on to junior high, I just want to encourage you to be good examples. You've been such a joy and good examples even to us leaders in prime time this year, just with your spiritual maturity, even at your age. So this verse is just such a good reminder for all of us. It says, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Okay, 1 Timothy 4:12. And I know you can do these things. God made all of you on purpose. He has a plan for your life, and he has set you on such a great path already as 12-year-olds. And parents, I just want to say thank you for bringing your kids to primetime this year. Just what you have done to instill such wonderful spiritual truths in your kids has been such a joy to see. So primetimers, continue to strive to be Christ-like and continue to study God's word and just keep praying, right? Keep praying and just show those fruits of the Spirit and continue to forgive each other. And hopefully that, as we see so much, friction that can happen when we're all close together so much, that we'll be able to get out and spend some more time with others and see your friends this summer. That's certainly my hope. So, and until then, again, I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much and all the fun times we had in primetime this year, and just hope to see you all soon. All right. Thank you.